The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. It's Rod Eccles.
And a good Wednesday, hump day to you. Here it is on August number 2 in the year of our Lord 2017. Welcome to all you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. It is I coming to you live indeed from the Bunker Eye Studio. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number should you wish to join me this morning. Today is also Intel Report Day. So in about an hour, we will get our weekly report in from Agent 0010. And it's a doozy, folks. You're going to want to make sure you're paying attention to this one. Speaking of paying attention... Well, let's see. What is today? Today, is there special days for today? Are there holidays, as some people like to call them here in New England, that are worthy of mention today? Well, yeah. There are not a lot of holidays today to celebrate, but the ones that there are doozy. They're wonderful. Today is Dinosaurs Day. Celebrate your favorite dinosaur. Now, I have a favorite dinosaur. Well, he's not really a dinosaur, but it depends on which movie you're talking about, though. Because in some movies, he is a dinosaur, and in some movies, he's not. And I'm talking about that wonderful giant lizard that goes by the name of Godzilla. That's my favorite dinosaur. Now, in some movies, he is a dinosaur. He was just irradiated with radiation, in which remember back in the day when radiation made everything grow big. We had all the stupid monster horror movies back in the 60s and 70s. Anybody remember the giant ants? I don't remember the title of that movie, but it was giant ants. Radiation, nuclear testing, radiation caused the ants to grow really, really, really big. I think one of the worst movies ever made, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, I think they were also irradiated. 60s. No, The Blob was from outer space. It was a thing from outer space. For the day, it was pretty good. Pretty good special effects. The story was pretty good. It was pretty scary for its time period. Giant rabbits. Yes, Night of the Lepus. Anybody remember that? That's also probably one of the worst movies ever. Giant rabbits becoming murderous, murderous beings. Them. Yes, thanks, Dom. The movie was called Them. The giant ant movie. I never saw it. It's one of the now I'm into cheesy classic horror movies just because they're funny. They're more like comedies today. Some of them were actually scary, considered really scary in their time period. But yeah, I don't think anybody took Night of the Lepus really seriously. That was just one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen. Giant fluffy, bunny rabbits I think they were irradiated too. They became giant rabbits, it's a type of rabbit, lepus, that went around killing people. Today is also National Coloring Book Day. Yeah, so now we have, coloring books for adults, and supposedly coloring books for adults are supposed to be really therapeutic, right? So we have, I just got a message here. What's my favorite Godzilla roar? That's a tough one. There are different nuances of Godzilla. Well, the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie, I'm not even calling Godzilla. But anybody remember in the 90s there was a toy Godzilla statue, basically, action figure. That toy had the voice of one of Godzilla's roars. I absolutely love that Godzilla roar. Although I do love the new movie, the 2014 Godzilla, it wasn't my favorite roar. I like the 70s Godzilla when it was deep at high pitch. They made bunch of different sounds, combined a bunch of different sounds to make Godzilla's roar. But I think that's probably one of my more favorite. It's Godzilla. National Coloring Book Day today. Today is also National Ice Cream Day, which is a good thing because it's supposed to be in the upper 80s to low 90s here today. So it will be a good day to celebrate ice cream. And I understand that Seattle is going through a heat wave, and global warming nut jobs are all up in arms. Do you know why they're having troubles in Seattle? In the upper Northwest. Well, because most people in that area, in that climate, don't have air conditioning. Well, they don't have air conditioning because they don't generally need it. But that's a problem. So I guess we're going to have like emergency air conditioning centers or something for these. I'm sure that if you're in an elderly building or complex that caters to the elderly, it will probably be air conditioned. But you have a bunch of liberals running around up there saying, well, it's terrible because most people up here don't have air conditioning. Does anybody know when air conditioning was actually invented? We've gone through most of man's history without air conditioning. Just saying. Most of man's history has been without air conditioning, and we somehow survived all the heat waves. Now all of a sudden we can't. Have we really become that wimpy? But anyway, those are your only 3 holidays for today. August has always been devoid of holidays. So here it is. Only 3 holidays today. Dinosaur Day, National Coloring Book Day. So if you're at work, whip out your crayons and your coloring book and tell your boss it's National Coloring Book Day, in that you're trying to relieve some stress. It's also National Ice Cream Day. It's at National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. Miss that. That's important because ice cream. Everybody's got to love an ice cream sandwich, right? By the way, have you ever done the test with some brands of, I'm not going to mention any brands, with some brands of ice cream sandwiches, they don't actually melt? So the question is, I thought ice cream was supposed to be made out of cream and milk and sugar, and whatever flavors you put in it. So, well, ice cream melts. Real ice cream. If you have an ice cream sandwich that isn't melting, what is it exactly? They've done those tests, believe it or not. Again, I'm not going to mention brand names because everybody's a little too sue happy when you try to tell the truth on them. Not that I'm afraid to be sued, because there's not much they'd get from me anyway. I don't have deep pockets, but it's not. You already know. And it's not just one brand. There's a couple of, let's just say that there are store brands. There's a couple of store brands out there that have been tested. Well, they tested a whole bunch of brands, and there's a couple of store brands that did not seem to melt when left out in the heat. They didn't completely melt. So it just makes you wonder, what the hell is that crap made of? It's not milk and cream, that's for sure. Anyway. There is a type of ice cream that I really do enjoy. It's called French vanilla, and that is some of because it has extremely high milk or butter fat, and it's also made with eggs. That's good stuff. I mean, it's heavier than get out, and it probably has 1,000 calories per serving, but it's delicious stuff. With real vanilla beans, on occasion, as a special treat, like once a year, because that's, at my age now, my metabolism has gone down into the toilet. I used to be able to eat a Jim Dandy from Friendly's. Used to love those things, still do. Used to be able to, wouldn't put on an ounce. I don't think I can do that anymore. But yeah, every Fat Friday, I used to call it Fat Friday, I'd go over and get a Jim Dandy, just to treat myself for being good the whole week. But yeah, never put on an ounce by eating them. And they're like 600 or 700 calories alone. And you eat a meal with that. You got, at Friendly's, and you've almost in one sitting, you've almost reached your 2,000 calorie limit. I'm not kidding. But it's good stuff. But it's probably not very healthy for you, which is why I still kind of limit myself to cheating, if you will. I'm not as strict as I used to be about not eating bad stuff during the rest of the week. I used to be pretty damn good at that. Yeah. And then I picked Fat Friday to be my cheat day. But it keeps you healthy, because you're going to want to stay healthy, because Sanders evidently is saying that he's Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders from Vermont, the wonderful senator, the wealthy senator from Vermont, is saying he's absolutely introducing single-payer healthcare bill. Yeah. He's actually going to introduce single-payer. See, this guy, this just goes, most Americans do not want government to be running their health care. They see the problems that they have with Medicaid, Medicare, and the VA. And they already know the problems that Obamacare is causing. They don't want the government running their health care system, but that's irrelevant, because Bernie Sanders is as old and as wise as he is. He knows better than you and I. He knows better than we do. Well, of course, the government can take care of us better. Nobody can take care of us better than the government. So he's going to introduce he said this last weekend that he will absolutely introduce legislation on single-payer health care now that the Senate's GOP bill to repeal Obamacare has failed. Now, folks, this is actually pretty scary because if you think that the GOP is going to vote this down, remember, this is the same GOP that said that they were going to repeal and replace Obamacare, and they couldn't do it. Even after they've done it, how many times during Obama's reign they voted to repeal and sent the bills up to his desk where he vetoed them, and now they can't? Now they can't agree on repeal and replace. They can't agree on repeal. They can't agree on skinny repeal and post repeal and this repeal and that repeal and no repeal and not really repeal, I should say. But so if you think that single payer is not going to get anywhere, you better think again. Because I'm telling you folks out there that keep voting for these GOP idiots, it's not my fault. I'm gonna put that out there. I'm not taking responsibility. Well, I can't vote for 98 of them anyway, so it's not up to me. And the two jackass senators that we have here in New Hampshire, I worked my ass off to make sure they didn't get elected, but they still got elected. Because all you stupid Massachusetts, Masshole, and California idiots who've invaded my state have decided that, we need a liberal Democrat in the Senate. So they gave us two of them, not just one, but two. But I didn't vote for them. I actively worked not to get them elected. But you people out you got 52 GOP senators right now. Well, they're not really 52 of them. There's probably actually less than half. I wouldn't consider Murkowski and Snow to be real GOPers. But I've listened to people talk from Alaska that talk about Murkowski that can't stand her. I don't know how she got elected. You talk to people up in Alaska, and nobody seemed to vote for her. So it's another question. How the hell did she get elected? I don't know. And both of them. Well, Snow is, wherever, if you're in their jurisdictions, you voted for them. Thank you very much. It's just like California keeps voting for not California. I'm sorry, Arizona. I don't know. Arizona, California is kind of the same now. You think John McCain would get elected in California? I bet you he probably would.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shade brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Zero 3-835-3226. Welcome back. So you have the wonderful, wondrous Bernie Sanders, who wants the government to take over your health care. Now understand, in every single nation where there is single payer health care, you do realize there is no choice of the people. Of the care that the care that they get is dictated by the government. It's dictated what kind of care that you're going to get, and even when you're going to get it. Just ask Canadians. You know, it's if you think that getting certain types of procedures done in the United States has a wait list or a wait time, wait till you get single payer when other people other than you and your doctor and your hospital are making the decisions. It's strictly the government. They're going to issue regulations, rules, and guidelines, and committees. A bunch of bureaucrats are going to decide if you're worthy of certain types of treatment. Oh no, you're past the threshold of the age where it makes sense to have that procedure. So we're just going to give you a pill and send you home, a pain pill and send you home, and say thank you for having a nice life, but it's your turn to die now. This is what's going on in other countries where they do have single payer health care. I know you could be saying, well, you know, hey, that forces a lot of people into being healthier for as long as they possibly can. That might be true because you definitely don't want to get sick. Now, can you imagine in this country? All of a sudden, we've got a number of generations that are unhealthy. They're fat, sedentary, obese, even. Don't get any exercise, let alone enough. I mean, we've got in some places it seems like we have more handicap parking spots than we have regular parking spots. That's a problem. We don't have that many disabled people in this country. I can't tell. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. For people who truly are disabled, I am not saying that we shouldn't allow exemptions for them to be able to get in and out of places a little bit easier. But I'm tired of pulling into a department store or a grocery store's parking lot and seeing 15 unused spaces for disabled persons only. Not a single car is parked in a disabled person's. Why? Well, just in case there's a rush, for them all. And then when you do see people getting out of some of these cars in a disabled parking lot, I don't see a lot of people, in vans and wheelchairs coming out. I see a lot of overweight, obese people, possibly with a cane sometimes, getting out. Now, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but that's the truth. That's the truth. So, if you like to indulge in eating, well, if you have single payer, you're not going to be able to do that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, I got more on this. Don't go anywhere, folks.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Three 835-3226. Before I get back to the Sanders debacle of healthcare, The Hill is also reporting that evidently Trump has told his golf club members that the White House is a real dump. Now, this is no surprise because remember, folks, I told you that Donald Trump was going to view the White House as a step down from his palatial digs down in Mar-a-Lago and, of course, at Trump Tower. He's a very ostentatious kind of guy. Not going to lie about it, not going to deny it. He is. He likes all, he likes his gold and silver plated stuff. He likes his, his Baroque style. If you've ever seen pictures of the interior of his apartment or penthouse in Trump Tower, it's got there's a Baroque style to it. Everything is gilded and golded and marble and glass and gold and more gold and silver and gold. Real gold and painted gold and fake gold and all that kind of stuff. That's not the White House, obviously. I've said it before. Said it right here on this program that he was not going to be particularly comfortable in the White House because he was going to consider it and view it as a step. If you've ever seen the interior digs of the White House, yes, it's beautiful. For most of us, it would be a step up. Or if you're part of the 1%, most of the 1%, it'd be a sidestep. But Trump is in that rarefied air of that 0.1%. He's not the only one. There's people of his stature that live in digs that there's no way in hell I'd be comfortable living in places like that. I would not be comfortable living in Donald Trump's penthouse in New York City. It is not my style. It is not comfortable for me. It's very cold. It's museum-like to me. I would not be comfortable. I'm not sure I'd be all that comfortable in the White House, to tell you the truth. But it does not compare to Donald Trump's own private digs. Yeah, it does. It's sorry. It does. Some people are saying, "Well, it's the White House, Rod." That's irrelevant to people like Donald Trump. Because they've got places that are bigger, badder, better than the White House. The White House is not the best residence on the planet, I wouldn't say no. Well, if I could live there without being president, I might. But so evidently he's told some close friends that the White House is a dump. He's not the only one. The White House has gone through a couple of major renovations in its history because it was a dump. There was one. Well, in War of 1812, it really wasn't a dump; it was burned. So obviously, it had to be renovated after that. But I think FDR had it completely gutted and renovated, or was it Truman, or was it FDR? I think it was FDR. Had it completely gutted and renovated. It was literally falling apart. It was a dump. And we've had various presidents that have added on to the White House. You see the original drawings of the White House. It looks sure the main part of the midsection looks the same, but there have been additions like you would not believe to this place. As the government grew, the White House executive branch needed to have the space. But, so he calls it a dump. No big deal. I know why. Doesn't meet his standards, and that's fine. And if he's saying this to, in private company, he's not defaming the building, the residents, to people all over the world. He's just saying, when is it that the president is not allowed to express his own private opinion with a close group of friends or confidants? And somebody I get it. Somebody can easily overhear you, but that's not the point. The point is that he's still allowed to, you're still allowed to have a private conversation. I hate it when people get mad at you. You're having a private conversation, and they just quote unquote happen to overhear it, and you say something that the person who's eavesdropping doesn't like, and all of a sudden they get mad. You don't have a right to get mad. If you're not included in the conversation, what the hell are you doing listening? And you shouldn't be getting mad about it. Well, we just found out that it doesn't matter. You're not the one being addressed. I know sometimes it's, when it comes to the president and other leaders, they have these so-called hot mics and they're actually saying what they actually believe. I get it. But, if it doesn't have to do with public policy or law, if it's just an opinion about something, hey, I believe the White House is a real dump. Just an opinion. And you're going to get all butthurt behind over it, and you weren't even a part of the conversation. It's fake and phony. It's kind of like that stupid tape that's like 10 or 12 years old about the locker room talk about the Donald Trump not even thinking about running for president at this particular point in time. And he has a private conversation with a decade ago. And the other guy gets fired from his job. I mean, this is just if I were him, I would have sued. I would have sued the network until they cried uncle. That's ridiculous. Here's another story here. Coast Guard will not break faith with transgender members. First of all, technically speaking, the Coast Guard is not part of the military. It's part of the Department of Homeland Security. The Coast Guard has never been part of the Department of Defense. A lot of people don't realize that. The Coast Guard is not part of the Department of Defense. I don't believe it has ever been a part of the Department of Defense. It's not construed technically as military. Now, you could say, well, they are military. Yeah, I agree. But just understand that these men and women are not officially in the military. The military consists of the four branches of Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines. Coast Guard is not a part of them. We don't have 5 branches of the military. We have 4. But anyway, Coast Guard officials reached out personally to their transgender service members to express support after President Trump's announcement of a new policy barring transgender people in the military, according to Commandant Admiral Paul Zukin. I can't pronounce that. Zukunft. I'm guessing it's German-based. But anyway, the first thing we did was reach out to all 13 members of the Coast Guard who've come out as transgender, the Admiral said. He told attendees at a Center for Strategic and International Studies event in Washington. The Admiral said that he contacted Lieutenant Taylor Miller, the Coast Guard's first openly transgender officer, who was featured in the Washington Post article last week. If you read the story, Taylor's family has disowned her and told Taylor, I will not turn my back. We have made an investment in you, and you have made an investment in the Coast Guard, and I will not break faith. But you know what? If the president says you will, then, Admiral, you will. That's the order. But there has not been an official order yet, by the way. I know that's it's one of those little technical details that people always seem to leave out in the news. There has not been an official policy change yet on transgenders in the military. And the Coast Guard is not the military, so unless he were to direct this at the Coast Guard and Department of Homeland Security, the Coast Guard would not be included in this directive, by the way. Just saying. That's the truth. And you know, the worst part about this is that the lamestream media knows this. They know it. But there's only 13 people. And I'm sorry. No, I'm just gonna come out and say it. You may want to call me transphobic if you want to, but there's no way in hell that you can serve in the military by pretending to be the opposite sex. I've already said my piece about this, but let me reiterate it. You cannot. It does not change who you physically are down at the DNA level. You may take male hormones if you're a female, but you're still not going to be a man. You may take hormones, but down at the DNA level, you're still not going to be a woman. It's just not going to happen. And you're never going to, unless you do some really hefty, take a ton of testosterone and other male hormones, and you do a lot of weightlifting, you are not going to be as strong as a man. Ever. Ever. So, I'm sorry, but there are certain you have to meet certain criteria in order to be in the military. You do. There are certain criteria. And one of those criteria should be that you are normalized in your brain, in your head. I'm sorry, but, I don't think that you're normalized in the head. And, yeah, I've got a personal friend of mine who was transitioning into a female, but I no, he's not. There's all of a sudden he's gone from being a guy's guy. Hey, he really was. Into wanting to be a female? No, no. Something, there is a switch in his head that went wrong somewhere. It got switched off or switched on, I don't know what. But there's a mental condition there. And if you're not mentally stable, then what are you going to do? You can't be a part of the military if you're not mentally stable. But in any case, I digress. I got off the main story that I'm talking about here. This is the Sanders wanting to bring forth the single payer health care. I don't even know what. I can't even. You can't even get somebody who says that they want single payer. You know the only reason why they want single payer? I'm serious. If you get down to nitty gritty, do you fully understand why some people want? Well, most people. Why most people who want single payer or in support of single payer, why they want it? Because they've been told it would be free. They've been told it would be free. As if somebody else is doing it, paying for it. Well, I don't know who else would be paying for it. But they don't think that they're going to be paying for it. That's the whole point. They think that they're going to get something for free. Make no mistake about it. As I have said so many times before, free is too expensive. We as a nation cannot afford free. It is too expensive. Look at California. California has an annual budget of around, I don't know, was it $180 billion or so? Less than $200 billion. Now, the legislator out there has been kicking around the idea of having California become a single-payer state. They have done the numbers. They've crunched the numbers. Now, remember, the entire budget for the state of California is less than $200 billion annually. To have single-payer alone, not including the rest of the government, not including that $180 to $200 billion in annual budget, the health care of single-payer in California alone would cost at least a minimum of $200 billion. You mean they are going to more than double the budget of the state of California by adding single-payer health care. Now, let me ask you, how is that free? You're more the reason Bernie Sanders comes from a state where the governor of that state says we can't afford single payer here in this state. We got to quit single payer. It doesn't work. It's too expensive. We can't afford it. The taxes are going to be too damn high. So in Vermont, where Bernie Sanders comes from, it says that single payer is obviously not free and too damn expensive. But Bernie wants to foist this thing on all of us, all across the nation. And folks, that would more than double overnight our nation's debt and our nation's annual budget. If you think it's going to cost $200 billion at least in California, let me tell you, it's going to cost this country more than $5 trillion annually. And the budget deficit is going to shoot through the roof, and our debt is going to shoot through the roof and double in less than 10 years, just like Obama did. But this time only one particular thing is going to do it, and that would be on Bernie Sanders' shoulders.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
I wonder if there was actually ever a Godzilla attack, would that be covered? Would that be allowed to be covered under medical treatment, under single payer? I had to think of all the people that would be. Well, I know there'd be tons of people killed, but think of all the injured people from a Godzilla attack. Has anybody had the opportunity to see the Japanese Godzilla, the Shin Godzilla, Shin Gojiro? I did. I'm guessing it was it wasn't a pirated copy, but it wasn't dubbed. Evidently, they're supposed. I guess now they may be relenting, and because for whatever reason they didn't want to release the Shin Godzilla here in the USA. I don't know why. I mean, this is a huge market for Toho's Godzilla, but evidently they're going to that's the rumor, that they're going to relent and they're going to dub it. Like the dubbing that they do for most Godzilla movies. They're going to dub it and release it here. But I had the opportunity of seeing, and it was captions. It was closed caption, but I did get to see it. It wasn't on a pirate network or anything. It was on what was the? I Googled it. Godzilla, Shin Godzilla full-length movie, and it popped up, and it was a legit site. So I don't know. It didn't cost me anything either. Although I did have to endure a commercial. This is 2 or 3 commercials before the movie started, so that's probably how it was paid for. Kind of like YouTube is now. YouTube has a ton of commercials on some of the videos. So I saw, and it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird, but and very esoteric. And all of a sudden you have all these people that are trying to dissect what the movie meant. What they were leaving it open for another movie, and there was going to be little mini Godzillas that were going to be running around. I'm like, oh my gosh. You don't have to get that deep into it in order to do it. I don't get deep into Godzilla movies. The movie, other than the was it 98? Other than the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie, the Godzillas that did the worst are the ones that had a political or a environmental message to them. Yeah, what the Smog Monster? Anybody remember that? That was terrible. So when they made Godzilla an Al Gore environmentalist, he didn't do too well. But when he was just a kick-ass king of the monsters, that's when he did well. Just saying. But I go to Godzilla movies and watch them constantly just to have some fun because I do love them. I watched Godzilla versus King Ghidorah the other night on YouTube. It was fun.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of french fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Yes, indeed. Thank you for being here. Here it is Wednesday, hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show. It is Wednesday, August number 2 in the year of our Lord 2017. Call-in number is 603-835-3226. I've been asked over and over again, what is my out of roars for Godzilla? You know what I think we should have? Well, I guess it'd be kind of difficult if you had a Godzilla like. What did the Pacific Rim? Anybody remember that movie? There's supposed to be a Pacific. I almost pulled a millennial here. A millennialism. They can't tell the difference often between Pacific and specific. But there is the Pacific Rim movie. There's supposed to be a Pacific Rim 2. So maybe what we need to do is to develop these giant robots. I don't know how you make them indestructible to anything but a nuclear bomb, but we need to make these giant robots for national defense. And every time there's North Korea shoots off a missile, then these things can't. They did fly, didn't they? They jumped, I guess. No, or could they actually fly? Anyway, we need to make these things to be able to fly. Anybody remember the TV show Ultraman? Yeah, Ultraman could fly. In the Godzilla movies, there was a flying robot, Jet Jaguar. So we need to have these giant robots that can fly, that can knock these things out of the sky. But evidently, we did have another successful test last week of an ICBM interceptor missile. Look, folks, I've said this before. I said if they're openly testing this stuff, it means that they can already do it. Kind of like the Patriot systems that they used during the first Gulf conflict back in the early 90s. If they're openly testing this stuff, it's already functioning. It's not 100% foolproof, no, but it's already functioning at an acceptable level. And I think that they're going to start deploying this type of this system pretty darn soon, a lot faster than we think or that we're being told. And that's one of the reasons which has, make no mistake about it, it's one of the things that has Putin upset. They don't have anything like this. Neither does China. They don't have. Do you realize if the United States could actually literally build itself a shield over itself, we wouldn't have to worry about attacks from without from anybody. That worries our enemies to death, because what's the only thing that keeps us from saying, just trying to obliterate our enemies? Well, the retaliatory strikes, especially with a regime that has nukes. So if we could make ourselves invulnerable to missile attack, do you think maybe we could make some of our allies that way too? South Korea, put a missile shield in South Korea. What's Kim Jong-un got? Nothing. Put a missile shield, a complete missile shield in Israel. What does the rest of the Middle East, especially rogue countries like Iran, got? Nothing. If we could put a missile shield over much of Europe, what does Russia, the Soviet Union, Putin have? They got Jack. That's why they get upset when we develop stuff and they don't want us deploying it anywhere. They understand the deal. And I can't blame them, except for the reason that, the only reason why you're so scared that we're going to attack you is because if it were flipped the other way around, you would attack us. See, it doesn't matter where you are on the planet. If you're a leftist, you're always going to be pointing the finger at somebody else, but you're really talking about the things that you would do if you were the one that had the power to do them. So if Russia all of a sudden came up with a missile defense shield, do you think they'd stop at the Ukraine or in Crimea? Do you think they would have pulled out of Georgia, the country of Georgia? No. So this is why they're upset, because they know that they would do something that we probably would not, but that's irrelevant, I suppose. But anyway, we do have something, we got something here this morning that is kind of related to that, and it is part of our intel report this morning with the wonderful Agent 0010. Good morning, Agent. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored.
Grooviness, as usual.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll do a show. Dom is writing in the chat room about Godzilla. I'm going to have to do a show about a special show about Godzilla. Yeah, I'm that big of a Godzilla fan. Anyway, we have a lot of serious stuff that is going on that covers the Middle East. Now, I've been watching a lot of so-called documentaries of things that are going on over in the Middle East right now, especially the United Arab Emirates, and how that they are utilized. Now, the United Arab Emirates are currently, they appear to be utilizing all that oil money. I forget, Abu Dhabi's sheikh is sitting on nearly $900 billion. Talk about rich people. The wealthiest people, it's not Bill Gates. It's not Jeff Bezos, a mere, what are these guys, 60, 70, 80 billion dollars? That's chump change of these Arab sheikhs. You got one, Abu Dhabi sitting on $900 billion. You got Dubai, Sheikh of Dubai, he's sitting on another $700 billion. And they're doing a lot to transform their little tiny nations into something that'll survive past the oil boom. So someday they realize either the oil is going to run out or, the world is going to move on to an alternative source. Either way, they're going to lose all that. They're not going to have all that money. So they're starting to make changes now, which is really kind of interesting. So you have places like Saudi Arabia, you have the UAE, United Arab Emirates, that are making all these changes. And the countries that don't seem to be making the changes seem to be the ones that are causing a lot, or in a lot of strife. They're having a bunch of troubles. And it's not as if they can't get along with one another because, Abu Dhabi and Dubai are perfect examples of them. Dubai is, they're outnumbered. I think, what was the documentary said that it was a 6-to-1 ratio. In other words, the actual Dubai citizens, there are 6 foreigners to every Dubai citizen, 6-to-1 ratio. And they live there's Sharia law there. But if you're not a citizen, you're not really covered under Sharia law as long as you don't flaunt it. So they obviously can get along. But we're finding out in other places that are not making this transition, they're not getting along so well. And they're threatening the transitional countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Kuwait with destruction, basically, destabilization and destruction. And you've come up with some information that may seem to indicate that this type of stuff may not be coming internally, but there may be some external factors, and even Barack Obama may have been involved in this.
Well, my report is about the responsibility that the previous administration, Barack Obama, there's a genocide that's going on at this present time. And this genocide that is occurring is happening to the Yazidi people. Now, why do I solely put the blame on Barack Obama's shoulders? He turned around.
Well, he said it. Actually, you know what? I have some audio here of him kind of admitting this.
Well, he basically armed ISIS, and ISIS is spearheading the genocide of the Yazidi people. In fact, play the audio, and I'll explain what happened afterwards.
Here it is. Obama,
when that speech happened.
Obama giving a speech and basically admitting to arming ISIS, or as he called it, ISIL, who is now, basically committing genocide against a few different types of ethnic people in the Middle East.
Was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
So there you have it. He was training ISIL, and then, I mean, how is it that the media missed all of this stuff?
Well, most of the media just let it go. But some members of the media questioned the White House as to, we're training who? We're arming them too? Oh, no. The president misspoke. Okay, so did he misspeak, and did he mean to say somebody else? Or is that just information that was not supposed to be given out? No, he just misspoke. Nobody in the media ever got a straight answer. So if you don't give me a straight answer, I'm going to conclude that you just told me something I was not supposed to know. Now, let's take a look at another situation. You have your favorite person in the whole wide world, Senator McCain, goes to Syria and talks to al-Nusra. Al-Nusra happens to be Al-Qaeda in Syria. Now, this whole effort was to overthrow al-Bashir from power. Now, am I the only one that sees this? No. Is the conservative news media the only ones that see this? No. Is it conspiracy theorists that see this? No. A fellow Democratic senator, she went to Syria, and she came back and she told us the American government is arming and training Al-Qaeda in Syria. We are weaponizing them. She admitted to this. So the whole fact that when President Barack Obama took all the American troops out of Iraq against the advice of all his generals and all his military experts, he pulled all American troops out of Iraq, creating a void, which creates destabilization. And then he turns around and he armed and trained ISIL, or now it's official, ISIS. So what happened? ISIS decided to go after the Yazidis in 2014. Now, let me explain to everybody who the Yazidi are and why Muslims in general, not all, but in general, hate the Yazidi. And it's all because of a misinterpretation or a conspiracy against the Yazidi. This is an actual conspiracy, okay? Both religions believe in God. Both religions believe in the 7 angels. Both religions believe that God took one of the angels and told him, you're going to take care of the earth. Then God created Adam and Eve. Now, here's where things get stupid on part of the extremist Muslims.
So, in other words, this is a religious sect difference. It's kind of like Protestantism, Protestantism and Catholicism. There is a difference in there.
Exactly. Now, here's the subtle difference. God told all 7 of the angels, you will bow down before Adam and Eve. One of the angels said, oh, hell no. I only bow down to one person, and that is you. God decided to punish this angel and sent him to the flames of hell. Now, this is where it starts. In the Yazidi culture, that angel stayed in hell until his tears put out the flames of hell. He was redeemed in the eyes of God and brought back and made a messenger between God and man. But in Islam, that angel's name was changed to Shaitan, where we get the name Satan from. So now the Muslims, especially ISIS, believe that the Yazidis worship the devil. That is their interpretation of the Yazidi culture. Now, the Yazidi culture, I want you to remember this. Keep this in mind. The Yazidi culture and the Yazidi religion, their traditions are passed on generation to generation by the spoken word, not the written word. Now, with that being said, Barack Obama decided, oh, look, I really messed up. Not only are the Christians and the Jews in that region being killed, but this culture, this ethnic religious group, which at the time numbered anywhere from 600,000 to 700,000, that's it. That's a tiny sect. They're being slaughtered. What am I to do? Oh, let me go send the planes to go bomb the poor Yazidis that are stuck on Mount Sinjar. They're stuck there surrounded by ISIL or ISIS, and they're being slaughtered. They are dying of thirst. They're dying of hunger. They're trying to fight off ISIS, but this is a losing battle. So let me go send the planes in. Now, here's the situation. Before the president decided to do that, members of the Yazidi organization went to Baghdad, spoke with a general in the American consulate, and begged him to send the planes to come in and bomb the hell out of ISIS. Here's what the general said. No, we're not allowed to. Why not? Because the Kurdish regional autonomous president, because that's where these Yazidis were trapped and located, he said we can't bomb in there. Barzani, who is Kurdish, and the regional president said, no, you're not going to bomb in that area that is Kurdish. But what about the Yazidis? Too bad, so sad for them. Even the Kurds don't like the Yazidis because don't forget the Kurds are Muslim. They are Muslim. So Obama got wind of what was going on, accepted the fact that he royally screwed up, and sent planes in anyway to bomb that area. Problem is, too little, too late. Many people died on that mountain. And I mean many. About 1,000 people died on that mountain. Because President Barack Obama decided, oh, I'm pulling the American troops out. Now, an arrangement was made within the Iraqi parliament where all the religious minorities in Iraq will be protected on one condition, that this religious group, that their religion is written down. Guess who that left out?
Left out the Yazidis.
Exactly. Because
hold that thought. We got to go for a break. So hold that thought, and we will get back to that when we get back from the break. Can you hold on till after the hour?
Yeah, not a problem.
All right. We'll be right back, folks.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
You know, one of the things that, I got an announcement here. There, people have been asking about the website. It's still, the site is still there, but it's not there. As you've probably gone over to rodeccles.net and found out. But we got an announcement that we have a new sponsor coming on board in September. They're going to be giving us some technical assistance with the new site, and that's going to be of a big help. So I thank them a lot. So what is going to happen is, is we'll be putting up what you might want to call a temporary site for the month of August, and then in September, as they'll be working on it throughout the month of August, along with my web guy, he flipped out on because he liked the old. I like the old site too. And he flipped out because of the security stuff or lack thereof, which is part of the problem. As I mentioned, some 10,000 plus sites that use that particular web WordPress type of site went down. So we were one of them. Yeah, it happens. So we got some. We're getting some technical assistance. So we should have a really badass site coming up in September, but we'll put up a placeholder temporarily for the month of August. So you'll have stuff, and I'll be able to start posting stuff again because I miss posting stuff too. It's always been a good thing and a good site. So we're getting all that back up and running for your information and your entertainment. And he doesn't know this yet, but we will be having a dedicated page to the Intel Report and Agent 0010. And all his past reports will be posted on that page as well, so you'll be able to go back and check them out. So there you have it. We'll continue with Agent 0010 right after this. Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
And welcome back. Glad that you're still here. We are still on the line with Agent 0010 as he continues to talk about what is going on in the Middle East, specifically between the Kurds, Yazidi, and what going back into the Obama administration. Now, I know a lot of people are probably saying and thinking, rightfully so, that a lot of administrations have turned their back on ethnic people all over the world, and nobody's been held accountable. And to a certain degree, you'd be correct. However, in this particular case, what happened was, what's happening is that even though a lot of those times that certain things are being ignored, we were not protecting and or arming those who are actually doing the ethnic cleansing. And I think that is a big difference with this thing with the Yazidis, and it's simply because you had a president who was taking the side of a Muslim sect or denomination over another, and you got to understand, Islam is Islam. It doesn't mesh or meld. It doesn't play well with other religions at all. And even within the various denominations in Islam, they don't play well with each other. So to understand this, it's kind of it is like creating something and saying that you can control it. You're going to back a particular brand of Islam because you think that if you give them weapons and training, you can control them to do your bidding. And then realize after you've given them all this training and all these weapons that they're uncontrollable. Well, then it's too late. And every indication, everything out there told you ahead of time that you shouldn't arm them and train them because you're going to lose control. Once they get wind of what you're doing, or once they've achieved at least a portion of your so-called objective, you're going to lose control of it. Oh, sure, hey, you want to take back Iraq? The Kurds say, well, come in here and take over Iraq. Get rid of Saddam Hussein. We'll do anything that you want us to do. You train us and all that kind of stuff. We'll help you. Sure, great. You get rid of their big guy, their enemy. And they're all happy. And then as soon as their enemy is gone, that you help them get rid of, well, then they're going to revert back to who they originally are. And you're wondering why we lost control of them. Well, we can't control them. They keep doing things we don't want them to do. That's because they always were going to do things you didn't want them to do. But you didn't realize that to begin with. And I think this is part of the problem with the Yazidi thing, is that Obama decided that he was going to back a certain denomination of Islam, maybe because that's his preference. And a lot of people think that Obama is a Muslim. Frankly, I've come out and said that he is really too. And now they've lost complete and total control of those that they armed and trained, and they're all sitting back scratching their heads. But we gave you all this stuff. So is that really what is pretty much? Is that an encapsulation of what's going on there, Agent?
Pretty much, basically. I mean, but to add insult to injury, like I was saying before, an agreement was reached by the Iraqi parliament with the blessing of the Obama administration that all religious minorities or all ethnic minorities in Iraq were going to be protected. But here's the stipulation, that their faith is written down. Christians write it down. Judaism writes it down. Islam writes it down. Hell, even Buddhism writes it down. Guess who doesn't write it down? The Yazidis. But Iraq got the thumbs up. They said, okay, not a problem. That's good to go. That's going to protect everybody but the Yazidis. So that leaves the door open for legal genocide, if you want to call it that, which is a disgusting thing to say, but that's exactly what it is. Legal genocide. So the Yazidis still aren't protected. The Yazidis still, they're trying to fight back. They're trying to fight ISIS back, and they're trying to fight anybody but they're limited with their weapons. They're limited with their abilities. Nobody is protecting them. The only ones protecting the Yazidis are the Yazidis. And they're not asking anybody to come in and be their defender. The Yazidis are a very proud culture. They're a very proud ethnicity. They're just saying, give us the ability to protect ourselves. That's all they want. So this whole mess has everything to do, going back to Barack Obama, and you and I have spoken about this. One of the reasons why I got sit in front of a computer and taken out of the field is because when me and a couple of other people had discovered the existence of ISIL or ISIS in Mosul many years ago, and we brought this to the attention of the higher-ups, and in 2008, listen to this, 2008, we were asked, can we bring these people to our side? And we said no. Are you sure? Yes. Are you positive? Yes. Okay, go sit behind that computer for the rest of your career. Same thing happened to individuals in CENTCOM who were monitoring the war, monitoring transmissions. They were getting data that we were not kicking ISIS's butt, that they were kicking our butts. And they were told to shut up. And if they didn't shut up, they would be fired. Same thing happened then too. So let's not fool ourselves. Like you said before, has our government done this before? Yes. But guess what? We did not give Adolf Hitler tanks, planes, guns, bullets to murder the Jews, to murder homosexuals, to murder anybody with a mental illness. We did not give Adolf Hitler the ability to do it. He did that all on his own. In this case, we helped ISIS. And that's basically the end of that report. My next report, get ready for this one. This one's kind of funny. Russian hackers are being arrested while they're on vacation, and they're being sent to the United States.
They're being sent to the USA, after they're being absconded from their vacations. Okay.
Exactly. There's one guy, one supposed hacker. He was on vacation in Spain. He got arrested, and they're holding him for extradition. There's one problem. If you are a computer person who's halfway savvy, hell, quarter of the way savvy, you know the difference between a spammer and a hacker. The guy they have is a spammer. And They have him under suspicion of tampering with the United States election.
What did he do? Did he send vote for Trump spam mail all over the place?
He probably did. I mean, they caught a couple of other guys. One guy, he basically, what he would do is he'd take over your computer, and the only way he would unlock it is if you pay him money and blah, blah, like hijack your computer. Okay, you know what? There's even a way around that. All you got to do is just completely shut your system down, unplug it, reboot it back up and everything else, and gone. And by the way, if you don't have a firewall that blocks that, shame on you, because they're out there and most of them are free. The good ones are free. But these guys are sitting there, and here's Putin's reaction. Who's being arrested? Oh, good. They're a pain in the ass anyway. Less spammers out in the world, because, God, I'm tired of opening up my computer. Porn. I'm tired of that. Less spammers, the better. So we're doing Putin a favor.
Yeah. So basically, they're not really getting anybody who might actually have been doing some harm. It's just we got spammers in this country. I mean, people just sit behind a computer somewhere, and they get email addresses. Either they pay for them, get them for free, or they abscond them somehow. And and they just send out massive emails, or they might send you. Well, this was kind of big back in the early days of the 2000s with the internet. When you used to get spam, the spam would happen to be that if you misspelled a website that was safe that you normally went to and you misspelled it, well, these people they would have these sites set up on the popular misspelled words of the site, and before you know it, you got all of these pop-ups coming onto your computer, and the only way to stop them half the time was to either disconnect or unplug and reboot. Yeah, I ran into that quite a bit. I'm a terrible speller, so you can imagine how many times I had to reboot my computer after going to the wrong websites because I misspelled a word. And so, they're annoying. Now they're not quite that annoying anymore, but they're still annoying, and that's pretty much all it is. And most of these things you can filter out. Either with some, with anti-spamware or firewalls, or if you're getting it in your email, a lot of email accounts now will filter most of the spam out, so you don't even have to deal with it or see it really.
Well, here's the real funny part. So they're rounding up these Russian spammers and hackers, tough guys, and for suspicion of hacking into the DNC. But here's the problem. I believe it was yesterday, Mr. Seymour Hersh, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, has come out and said that the DNC leaks were not hacked. It was Seth Rich. He was the leaker. And
of course, Seth Rich was, he died in a botched robbery attempt. Isn't that kind of interesting?
Yeah, coinky dink. But I got news for you. Now everybody's running around saying Seth Rich is back, and very few people are talking about the Seth Rich situation, and even less people are talking about Mr. Seymour Hersh. And the whole thing, they're running around saying, oh, Fox News is being sued, Fox News is being sued, blah, 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 blah. And my question is this. I saw the paperwork for the lawsuit. I saw the defendants of the lawsuit. Here's my $1 million question. Why isn't Julian Assange on that list? It's not. He's the one that printed out all the emails. He's the one that spoke, that received it from Seth Rich. He's the one that did all this, but yet Julian Assange is not being sued. He's not mentioned in this lawsuit. He's not as a witness. Nothing at all. But yet, these Russian hackers did it. They got into the DNC. Yeah, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. So,
well, if they did, why doesn't the DNC turn over their computers so we can find out who exactly it was?
Oh, we can't do that. We can't do that because that's the DNC server. Do you know how sacred that is? That's more valuable than the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, all because they want to keep this whole mantra of collusion going on. And of course, if we actually got a hold of and did some forensics on their hard drive and their email accounts, we'd find out that obviously there was no Russian collusion. We might find out that there was collusion, but it was on the Democratic side and not on the Trump or Republican side.
Exactly. Now, my question to you. I'm getting my own page. Grooviness. I like that. Thank you.
Yes, well, I mean, there's a lot of info here that has to be disseminated, and it's got to be archived in one spot. So that's the best I could do.
You are so good to me. I'm going to be so Pacific with you. You are awesome.
Yes. All right, Agent, thank you so much for this week's report. Stay safe out there, my friend.
Not a problem. Have a great one, folks.
Bye-bye. Yes, and we will be back pacifically to talk about I don't even know how they do it. How do you mix up specific with Pacific? Really, seriously, I can't even pull it off. Sorry. We'll be back.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
603-835-3226 is the number that you can utilize to call the program. Have you heard about this with Facebook? Facebook is trying to become another Amazon, sort of. I'm just waiting for them to start launching their own stores. I know a lot of people do the Facebook Shopify thing. Is that it? Shopify? Yeah. But I'm just looking for Facebook because they're starting to get off into things that have nothing to do. Well, you would think it would have nothing to do with Facebook. So much like Amazon got off on tangents in areas that had nothing to do with buying and selling books or any other product, but they got into other areas, and now they're just huge. And Facebook is starting to do similar things. Well, here's something I didn't realize that they were doing. Facebook, I did know that they were doing artificial intelligence or AI experiments because they were looking to be able to do like 3D. Did you know this? They were looking to do like 3D virtual reality stuff. Can you imagine stepping in, putting on your virtual reality, your VR goggles, and stepping into, much like Second Life, the program Second Life, the game Second Life, but only with Facebook. So you step into the world of Facebook in virtual reality. That's one of the things that I guess that they're working. I'm not sure I'd participate, but that's one of the things they're working on. But this is something that caught them off guard, I guess. And to be fair, I don't think a lot of people actually thought about this. But Facebook actually shuts off an AI experiment after two robots begin speaking in their own language that only they could understand. Now, experts have called the incident exciting, but also incredibly scary. Can you imagine? Now just remember, remember Code Talkers, the movie Code? Well, Code Talkers was about the Navajo. It was the Navajo, right? Navajo Indians, Native Americans. How the Germans and the Japanese could not break the Navajo language. We use it as a code. They could not break because it was unlike anything that else was out there. Any other language. I guess Navajo was just off the charts different. I don't know why it was just Navajo. I'm sure that there were other Native American tongues that were just as quirky and unbreakable. But, of course, now you can break the code because people know Navajo. But back then in World War II, nobody had ever heard of it. So that's what they use for code, and they couldn't break it. Now imagine a computer, an artificially intelligent computer, deciding to create its own. Who's going to break it? Another computer, maybe. But would that computer then tell you? So Facebook shuts down an artificial intelligence experiment after two robots begin talking in their own language. The chatbots Alice and Bob modified English to make it easier for them to communicate, creating sentences that were gibberish to watching scientists. But a robot expert says that the revelation that Facebook machines had spoken in their own language was exciting, but it was also scary. Can you say all the doomsday all the doomsday types of movies out there that involve computers, like all the latest Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, computers trying to take over the world, any movie like that, actually, not just Terminator, but that is kind of scary for them having a language that you cannot even break. What were they talking about?
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along?
Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back?
Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer?
With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95.
I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me? My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices. for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. He's Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Hour number 3, the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. Welcome to all you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number, the hotline, if you will, straight to the bunkerized studio broadcast desk. Yes, you will. When you call that number, you will get me while the show is on the air. You will get me, who is sitting in the Freedom Throne behind the Freedom mic, and you will be patched in for the entire world to hear. Unfortunately, we do not have a disqualifier, and we do not have any way of disguising your voice. So everybody who knows you will know that it is you when you come onto this program. Now, I have thought about getting some sort of voice disguiser to help people who want it to be more anonymous, but those things are really, 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 really expensive. So I guess we'll just have to not go down that route. But, you know, everybody who calls here anyway, they don't mind being recognized because, you know, they want their friends and family and relatives and possibly even their bosses to know what their personal political feelings are. And not just political. It could be, you know, maybe you want to give your opinion about Justin Bieber. He's still following that priest around, by the way, I guess. I don't know. I've said it before. Something's not right with that. Now, I'm not a believer. I'm not a Justin Bieber fan at all. I think I can literally say that I really only like maybe one or two songs. Maybe it's 2 songs that he's ever done that I've actually don't mind listening to. But other than that, I think he's a dweeb. I think he's a spoiled brat. Yeah, what is he, like 23 now or something? I don't even know how old he is. Early 20s. But all of a sudden, he's like going and following this. I think he's Australian priest. From Hillsongs. Just something's not right with that. If you've seen some of the pictures that I've seen with these two men together, it's just now I'm not insinuating. Well, I guess maybe I am. But the priest is married, has kids, but that really doesn't mean anything. I know. Now I don't know if he's I don't think there's a big Catholic contingent in Australia, and I think Hillsong is a Protestant denomination. So I don't know if it's Episcopalian or what have you, but they're calling him a priest, not a pastor. So the pictures I've seen of these two together, it's just so lovey-dovey. Well, not so much on the priest side, but on the Bieber side. I mean, it's like this. It's either it's not that he's found a new. Well, it's not that Bieber's found a father figure, because I guess Bieber's own father is kind of a jerk. But it kind of looks like he's found a daddy figure, if you know what I mean. Just saying. But anyway, I know. The funny thing is whenever I have slammed Bieber on social media, his fans do not respond. So I'm just wondering if these people actually believe, deep down, if they actually believe what I've been saying about him. And I've often said that Bieber probably needs to come out of the closet, at least as being bi. I don't know if he's gay. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care. But don't keep perpetrating a fraud on your fans. Is all I'm saying. And maybe he's found somebody to set him free. I don't know if he's still in Australia or not, but it's none of my business what he does in his own bedroom. I don't really care. But don't perpetrate a fraud on people by making it sound. I still say that him dating Selena Gomez was a sham. That was a set-up thing, and it was. She's a pretty girl. I thought she had better taste than that. Any case, which is probably why they ended up breaking up, because she finally probably said, "Well, we can't do this anymore because I have better taste than Bieber." I don't know. Look, if he's getting in touch with his inner self and it straightens him out so he isn't such a dweeb and a jerk, then great. I don't care who turns him around, as long as he does turn around and becomes a hell of a lot more respectful to other people. As long as he grows up, that's fine. That's fine. If he comes out that he's playing for the other team, who cares? As long as he becomes a better person for it. That's all that really matters. So if he's found love and favor with a Australian priest, then so be it. Good for him. Obama officials may have hacked Supreme Court Justice John Roberts. Yes, Big League Politics reports that there is evidence showing Chief Justice John Roberts of the U.S. Supreme Court was hacked by a surveillance operation overseen by Obama administration, CIA Director Brennan, and Director of National Intelligence James Jimmy Clapper. Yes, and this is from Gateway Pundit is reporting this. Justice Roberts is a Bush appointee, as everybody, well, a lot of people probably don't realize that, but he is. He's a Bush appointee that made a decisive vote to uphold the constitutionality of Obamacare before the 2012 election. Now, I have often said, that for Roberts to do what he did on the Obamacare vote and declaring it constitutional, is that Obama had to have something on him. And people blew it off. Oh, that's not possible. Well, lo and behold, here we have some evidence that is growing that they probably, because they hacked his system or his computer, that maybe they did have something on him after all and blackmailed him. Now, wouldn't that be a pip? Now, I don't know how they could prove it, but wouldn't it be a pip if it came out that somebody with it, maybe, it's never, you're never going to get the big guy, so it won't be Obama, but somebody in the Obama administration basically blackmailed John Roberts into doing what he did with Obamacare. What would that do to the decision? You want to talk about a constitutional crisis. But previously released tapes, which are corroborated by WikiLeaks Vault 7 release, alongside public comments by CIA and NSA contractor Dennis Montgomery, who gained immunity, show that Brennan and Clapper, no doubt in coordination with then-President Barack Obama, spied on various individuals. The tapes were made public by federal judge G. Mary Snow and show real estate billionaire Timothy Bilkseth, Bilxeth, describing the surveillance program of Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio and Detective Mike Zullo. Now, in this surveillance film that was released by WikiLeaks, Bilkseth has some commentary, and he said this in his commentary: John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was hacked. He said, I provided to the FBI 17 businesses of Donald Trump, including the Trump Tower, the Trump leasing programs, all these different programs, and including Trump himself and the various family members, and that had been wiretapped under these programs. So said Montgomery in a recent interview. There has been a wiretap on Trump for years. I started by going to Maricopa County and showing that Sheriff Arpaio himself was wiretapped under the Obama administration. I was a CIA contractor under both Brennan and Clapper, and these individuals were running domestic surveillance programs in the United States, collecting information on Americans. This isn't political. They were collecting information on Republicans and Democrats, but they collected everything they could find. Bank accounts, phone numbers, chats, emails, and they collected a massive amount of it under the Obama administration, including that on important people like Sheriff Arpaio and John Roberts, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So, if any of this is even slightly truthful, why aren't we breaking this into a wide open investigation of the Obama administration? Why isn't the lamestream? Do you realize how dangerous this is? The federal government, i.e. the Obama administration, who still has embedded people in the deep state in the Trump organization right now, they were heavily involved in surveying illegally American citizens. And evidently, you could see that they use some of that information to potentially blackmail and ensnare to convict some of so-called crimes against America. You know, Arpaio was just recently found guilty of criminal, what is he going to be? He's going to be sentenced sometime later this week, I guess. Most likely house arrest because he's 85 years old, but criminal contempt. Well, what would happen if we actually knew, and it were true, that somehow this spying on an American citizen and in an American Supreme Court justice, not just any Supreme Court, the Chief Justice, got the Obama administration to get their way? Can anybody say that this doing this kind of stuff is more dangerous than any collusion of an election? Seeing how that they really could not influence our election in any possible way. I mean, as far as votes. I mean, hell, people are, believe it or not, even though foreign governments aren't supposed to be able to comment on how are you going to stop a foreign country from commenting on our election, who they like to see as president? You can't. They can do that all day long. So now you have Justice Roberts, who looks like maybe he might have been. Look, folks, I said this a long time ago. Way back when Justice Roberts rewrote part of the Obamacare legislation in order to, quote unquote, make it legal and constitutional. I mean, seriously. And now some 5 or 6 years later, what we're finding out is that I may have been more right than I originally thought. Now, how scary is that?
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Three 835-3226. I don't know where we go from here if the media will not cover this. Now, I'm not saying that this is completely 100% accurate, but obviously this is, if they have recorded audio of this, that's enough to take this charge very seriously, and therefore. Obviously, this is stuff that the Obama people in the Obama administration did not want to go public. Now, first of all, I have to take issue with WikiLeaks. So, I'm tired of these people. Well, maybe it's simply I know it's marketing is behind it to get people to pay attention, so they just can't dump everything on us. I get it, but to do it the way they're doing it and it takes so long and spreading it out so long and so far is a little bit disingenuous, I think, on Julian Assange's part. But if they got stuff like this, it needs to come out. All of it. And then there are people within our government that need to take this stuff seriously, because obviously if you have people talking about this on video or on tape, and it's easy to figure out who those who are talking are. It's not very difficult. They're not using voice disguises or anything, so it's easy to figure out who these people are. And if they are talking about instances like this, we're talking about potential blackmailing of high-level government officials, including people within the Supreme Court of the country. Can you imagine if you can start blackmailing Supreme Court, any justice at any level of government is bad enough, but can you imagine being able to blackmail a Supreme Court judge into swaying their vote in your direction? That is a direct affront and a direct attack on our form of democracy. And by the way, we are not a full-fledged democracy. We have a form of democracy. We're a constitutional republic, which is a form of democracy. But we are not technically a democracy. Just so people know. We're not mob rule. But we're a form of democracy because we elect people in positions of, well, I'm not going to say leadership, but we directly elect those who make decisions on our laws. And as a republic, we also indirectly elect the major figures, president and vice president in this particular case. Through a fairness system called the Electoral College. So that because people get to participate, and they do directly elect their representatives, House of Representatives, senators, we are a form of democracy, a democratic republic. But we're also a republic because, again, these are representatives. We don't actually vote on everything. We elect people to represent us, to do the things that we want them to do. Unfortunately, we got a lot of people in Washington, D.C. that don't do the things that we want them to do. But can you imagine keeping people from doing what we want them to do simply because they can be hacked and blackmailed. I don't know why this isn't a bigger, I do know why it's not a bigger story. It's not a bigger story because the lamestream media is still out there running interference and protecting Obama. But do they not realize, well, they don't realize how dangerous this is for them to do what they're doing. Extremely so. But to be able to blackmail a Supreme Court justice and the Chief Justice at that is an amazing ability of our government to snoop and spy on all of us. You got to ask yourself, is there anything is there any skeletons in your closet that you don't want the rest of the world to know? And if so, does that mean that somebody from a government official could blackmail you into doing things that they want you to do in order to keep that stuff secret? I think maybe that there is something in Justice Roberts' past that he didn't want to have come out. Because that's the only explanation for his decision on Obamacare in the first place. I'm sorry, but that I stand by it.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
Fingers is what it takes, like a pianist. 603-835-3226. Says some of the world's best guitarists. You ever watch them play? I'm just saying, watching their hands. The fleetness and nimbleness of their hands, their fingers, is just incredible. Like a world-class pianist. Just instinctively knowing where the keys are on either a piano board or on the guitar is just incredible. I mean, that's just lots and lots and lots and lots of practice. It doesn't necessarily even take years and years and years and years, but it takes lots of hours and hours of practice for the muscle memory and finger dexterity to develop in order for people to do so. I'm always in awe of people that can really make an instrument sing when it comes to stuff like that. Violinist, again, that finger dexterity, and to make that instrument literally cry, a beautiful cry, is just amazing. People that... It's really just a lot of hours of practice. It doesn't necessarily take years, and I know we hear, well, it takes years and years and years and years. No, it takes hours and hours and hours of practice, whether it's over a period of years, decades, or just a period of months or years. That's what it really takes, is just hours of practice. But what people can do with certain musical instruments is, I find, I'm in awe of them. It's just absolutely incredible. That doesn't mean that they're better than the rest of us. I mean, really. I believe because everybody's got the same brain. We've got that human brain. And as long as they're, you're fairly normal, everybody has the same opportunity and the same ability to do certain things. Now, whether they have the ability to create, if we actually could get past our own perceived limitations. Can you imagine if mankind were actually to eliminate their own perceived limitations? What we could accomplish? I mean, seriously, because we make excuses for just about everything. All of us do, myself included. We make excuses for all kinds of things. And I'm not coming here to try to be some sort of self-improvement guru. But, a lot of them, some of them, they have it right. It's all in your head. What you perceive to be is going to be your reality. So if you perceive that there are no limitations on your ability, then you'll find yourself being able to accomplish so much stuff, and everybody else looking at you will think, you're especially gifted or you're lucky or whatever. And none of that is true. We're all specially gifted. We just have to start believing that and operating from that platform. That's all it is, because we all have the same brain, same kind of brain. We all have, the near similar abilities. That's why I never get into this whole notion of IQ. Do you know what IQ doesn't mean that you're smart? It just means your ability to learn. And true, some people have an easier time of learning new stuff than other people. That is true. It doesn't mean that those who are quote-unquote slower can't learn. In fact, they do. And oftentimes, because they have to work a little bit harder at learning something, they know that subject matter a little bit better than for those who it comes pretty easy to. So I'm just... I'm just saying, you can't limit yourself. We're the ones that limit ourselves. We really are. And we can blame other people if we want to, but actually the reality is that we're letting what other people say about us limit our abilities instead of just casting them off. Because let's face it, how many people, do you think that all these wonderful new millionaires and billionaires, like Facebook and Zuckerberg and all those, do you think they listen to their critics? No, they sloughed off the critics and said, they say it can't be done. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. And lo and behold, before you know it, they've done it. Even though all those who were wise, supposedly, said it couldn't be done. I never buy the notion that when somebody says, it can't be done or it can't be done this way. I'm like, screw you. Just because you didn't do it this way, it doesn't mean it can't be done. And our history is replete with a plethora of individuals who've bucked the system. When the system said you can't do it, the only reason why you can't do something a particular way is if your government says that you can't do it that way, and that if you try or if you do it that way, we're going to throw your ass in jail. That's the only way you're going to get stopped. Otherwise, you're not going to get stopped. No, Dom, no. There are certain rules in the universe that limit our abilities. I'm not saying mankind is not limitless. Anybody remember the movie Limitless? Evidently, that movie was, and it was a TV show too, I do believe. Limitless is a misnomer because there were obviously limits. The limit was you had to take this drug. You get drugged to become super smart. But even though you took the drug, you still had limits. So you cannot breathe into existence something that cannot exist. Not by man's viewpoint, but by the very nature of the universe itself. Physics, astrophysics, geophysics, biophysics. All the different physics out there. There are limits bound by the laws of the universe, and bound by God Himself. There's just certain things. With a thought, you cannot become the opposite sex. Sorry, nice try, but no, that's not what I'm talking about. Anyway, you cannot be anything you want. I don't know. Maybe you want to be a dog, but you can't become a dog simply by thinking that you're a dog. Just not going to happen. At least not now. Well, I don't. Maybe someday we'll be able to create some sort of serum or drug or ray gun that'll change your DNA and rearrange it and make you a dog if you want to be a dog. But at this particular point in time, not possible. And I'm going to say that even if such a thing is possible and plausible, it's probably a few centuries away before we can get that done. But there are limitations. Everything has limits. Everything in the universe has limits, except for maybe God Himself. I know there's the old proverb. There's the old question: can God make a rock big enough that He can't lift? If He can't, that means He can't do everything or anything that He wants. If He can't, it means He can't do anything that He wants. So it's kind of, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Has anybody ever heard that? Can God make a rock so big and so heavy that He can't lift it? And either way you answer, God loses. But that's because we do have a limited capacity to view our universe. We're linear creatures. We believe that there's a beginning and an end to everything. That's the only way we can measure things, as a beginning or an end, alpha and omega. Linear time. There's a time beginning and there's a time end. We cannot fathom that things in this universe are not linear, because that is not the way our minds are made. Our minds are made to be linear, not omni, every direction all at once. And those people who can, the truth is those people that can get that seem to be able to get a glimpse of time and space in an omni direction, not a linear direction, those people go crazy. Literally, they go nuts. We're not built to be able to fathom that. I don't know why. Maybe someday when you're before God, you can ask Him, why did He make our brains so linear and not omni? I don't know. In any case, it's kind of an esoteric type of discussion there. Back to the real stuff that I wanted to discuss. Senate Republicans seem to be, according to the AP, are slowly turning their backs on Trump. Slowly? And beginning? They've already turned their backs on Trump. Well, no, actually they haven't turned their backs on Trump. They've turned their backs on the American people and their own voters. And here's the AP has a story. It says that there wasn't a dramatic break, a public break, or an exact moment it happened, but step by step, Senate Republicans are turning their backs on President Trump. They turned their backs on President Trump on November 9th of 2016, when it was made clear that the votes were established and were in, and that Donald Trump was the 45th president of the United States and not Hillary Clinton. That's when the Republicans, they actually began turning their backs on him before that. But they defeated the GOP. They defeated an Obamacare repeal bill, even though Trump was pleading with them not to. They're ignoring his Twitter demands that they get back to work on the repeal measure. They dissed the White House budget director, defended the attorney general against the president's attack, and passed veto-proof sanctions on Russia over his administration's objections. They're reasserting their independence, which looks sorely diminished in the aftermath of Trump's surprise win. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina says, we work for the American people. We don't work for the president. Well, Mr. Scott, Senator Scott, you're not working for the American people either, because American people have said repeal Obamacare, and you jackasses didn't do it. And you did it just because you thought you were turning your back on Trump and you're trying to punish Trump. Why the hell do you think John McCain got on the floor and decided to vote against repeal when he supposedly was all for it before Trump was president? But now there's even rumors that are spreading around that saying that Trump or that McCain was saying in private to a few of his buddies, let's see if he can make America great now. This is all against Trump. And the reality is it's against you and me, the American people, who voted for Trump. They don't give a rat's ass about you and me. And they've just proven it. They've proven it by not delivering the repeal, the same kind of repeal that they voted on over and over again when Obama was in office, simply because they never really truly intended to do so, because they were ignoring us from the beginning. They could have stripped this whole program of funding. Stripped it. Could have died on the vine already. Did they do that? Oh, hell no, because they wanted it. And then when they brought up the same bill, that basically the same bill from 2015 that they passed in 2015, and all of a sudden they couldn't find the votes in 2017. Really? They overwhelmingly passed it in 2015. But then in 2017, they couldn't find the votes to pass the same damn bill. Are you kidding me? They've already turned their backs on Trump, AP. In fact, they've turned their backs on the American people. Now it's time for the American people to turn their backs on them and start voting in office people who will not ignore the people's wishes. Repeal Obamacare already.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hayride.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Little bit of a 70s style funk and groove there, I guess. Hit the boo, boo. What's this? There was a song that came out in the 70s that I absolutely hated. I still hate it to this day. It's Ring My Bell. Who sang that song? You can ring my bell. Oh, God. Never liked that song. And it took me a long time to get used to and actually kind of sort of be able to tolerate the song Funky Town. Remember that? Won't you take me to Funky Town? I know, that's a good old disco stuff back then. But, some disco I know people said that about the Bee Gees, too. But everybody was dancing to the Bee Gees. Here, speaking of entertainment industry, J.K. Rowling has been taken to task, but she's given a disappointing non-apology to Donald Trump. Yet last year she wrote about a speech that J.K. Rowling gave at the PEN Literary Awards Gala on the importance of free speech. She took the classical liberal line saying the answer to speech that offends you is not a safe space, but more speech. She went even further, warning that anyone attempts to silence speech they disagree with is traveling the path of tyrants. Now, Rowling even used the example of a petition to keep Trump out of the UK, saying it was a mistake to try to silence him, even though she considers him a bigot. And this was all. This all started because with a video clip that had been edited in a misleading fashion. Someone tweeted out a video of President Trump apparently ignoring the outreached arm of a little boy in a wheelchair. That really set Rowling off. The tweets have since been deleted, but they read in part, "This monster of narcissism values only himself and his pale reflections. The disabled, minorities, transgender people, the poor, women, unless related to him by ties of blood, and therefore his creations are treated with contempt because they do not resemble Trump. My mother used a wheelchair. I witnessed people uncomfortable around her disability, but if they had a shred of decency, they got over it." And Chelsea Clinton also jumped on the bandwagon. The only problem is that the little boy's mother, Marjorie Kelly Weir, wrote in a post on Facebook over the past weekend that Miss Rowling had misinterpreted the situation. If someone can please get a message to J.K. Rowling, Trump didn't snub my son, and Monty wasn't even trying to shake his hand. Adding that Monty didn't even much like shaking hands. He's a germaphobe. So Rowling fell victim to a fake news clip of Trump making Trump appear to ignore this kid's hand, when the kid that in question is actually, according to his mother, it's actually kind of a germaphobe and wasn't even trying to shake the president's hand anyway. They got but they're allowed to get things wrong, right? And whatever they say is true. And they don't have to apologize when they're wrong either. Just saying. And by the way, guess who's defending North Korea? Jill Stein. Yes, I got it right here. Jill Stein, when she's not getting arrested for vandalizing construction equipment in the Dakota Access pipeline, She finds other ways to get herself in the news, this time by stopping by at MSNBC for an interview with Alex Witt and talking about North Korea. She says a demonization of North Korea is part of the run-up to regime change. So I guess the fact that that they want to go ahead and blow us all up with nuclear weapons means nothing to her, or to Jill Stein. Yeah, that's the way people are. But in any case, got so much more, but we're going to have to pick it up tomorrow in about 21 hours. We're out of time for the day, so we'll see you for Thursday's edition. Till then, have a wonderful hump day afternoon and evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow, folks. I'm Rod Eccles. Thanks for listening. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled. And you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.